Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us for this brand new rookie webinar series. We'll do intro to Dream Camp tonight. So just to go over a little bit about how the webinar is going to work, we have reserved a time at the end of the presentation for a Q&A portion. So during the bulk of this presentation, you will be muted. But we'll open it up at the end for questions. And then also throughout the presentation, feel free to ask any questions in the chat, or you can also use the Q&A function down at the bottom of the screen. So we'll go ahead and get started. You also might see a few boxes with the video screens of myself and other presenters. If that's in the way of the presentation for you, it does have the option at the top to hide the thumbnails, so feel free to do that as well. All right. All right, so the purpose of today is really just to provide some background first about our organization for those that aren't familiar with us, and then to provide more specific information about Dream Camp, how to register, the different activities that we do at camp. We have a past camper joining us, so he'll provide some insight into what his experience at camp has been like. And then, of course, we'll answer any questions you might have. My name is Brooke Kieber. I'll be your primary presenter today. I'm the camp director, and I'm also a program manager for Wayne County. I will be joined by Alexic Yoder. He's an assistant program manager. He'll help me monitor the chat, and he's also been to camp before, so he can help answer questions as well. And then we're excited to have Elijah Yoder join us. He's an Adaptive Sports Ohio athlete and is also a multi-year Dream Camp participant. So we'll hear from Elijah here near the end of the presentation. So I'll get started just to provide some background about our organization. If you're not familiar with us, we are a nonprofit that provides a variety of community-based and interscholastic adaptive sports opportunities throughout Ohio. We were founded in 2009 in Worcester by Lisa Followay. The idea for the organization was inspired by our son Casey, who was born with spina bifida. Casey was always active as a kid and loved sports growing up, so he always wanted the chance to play like his peers. And once Lisa realized the immense benefits that sports provided Casey, she knew that others with physical disabilities should also have that same opportunity to participate. So that's really how Adaptive Sports Ohio was born. And our mission is to remove barriers to ensure that individuals with physical disabilities have a chance to play and utilize sport to elevate ability and empower futures. So we are headquartered in Worcester, Ohio, but we do have satellite offices in Cleveland and Youngstown. We have active programs in 6 different counties in Ohio, and then through our different interscholastic opportunities and through Dream Camp, our reach is really statewide. A question we get often is who are adaptive sports for, who's eligible to participate. To really break it down, adaptive sports are for individuals with a physical disability that limits their ability to participate in a typical sport. So some common disability types that we see in our programs are spinal cord injuries, spina bifida, amputees, visually impaired individuals, individuals with cerebral palsy, scoliosis, etc. So it's definitely not limited to those disabilities, but that's just an example of some common disability types we get participating in our programs. And then a common misconception about our programs and about adaptive sports is that you need to be an everyday wheelchair user to be playing these sports. A lot of them have wheelchair in the name, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, but that certainly does not mean you have to be an everyday wheelchair user. Many of the athletes that participate in those sports aren't everyday wheelchair users. And adaptive sports modify typical sports by adding a piece of equipment or modifying a playing rule. So if you have a typical sport that you enjoy, I guarantee it can be modified in some way to cater to your needs. We offer a wide variety of sports, and we break those down into 2 different types, community-based programs and interscholastic programs. So our community-based programs are open to all ages, all disabilities. And nearly every sport we offer offers both competitive and recreational opportunities. So those that want to get more elite competition and travel to different tournaments in different states, there are competitive options available. If you want to participate more recreationally and just do it for fun and to learn the game, that we also have that option available as well. With all of our sports and programs, we provide all of the equipment necessary to participate. So we'll transport program chairs to and from each program that athletes are welcome to use. If they have their own sports chairs or equipment, they're also welcome to use that as well. And then sports do vary by location. So that list that you see there for community-based sports is offered at a lot of our locations, but it's not guaranteed that a specific sport's going to be at every location. And then with our interscholastic programs, these are school-based programs that provide an opportunity for students with a physical disability to represent and compete for their school teams. So with track and field, we assist athletes on getting involved in their track and school teams. As if you want to participate as a wheeler, we'll provide the racing chairs, the throwing chairs for field events, as well as offer an athlete and coaches training at the beginning of the season. And then we've begun a wheelchair basketball program that was in 6 different schools last year. It's a district-wide program, so students 1st through 12th grade can participate on the wheelchair basketball team. But we're looking to double it this year and hopefully triple it here in the next few years and expand to different areas across Ohio. So tonight's the first of our webinar series. Tonight, Dream Camp webinar will be followed by wheelchair tennis and adaptive track and field. And then our plan is to host one every month, at least one every month. And it'll take place on the first Wednesday of each month. So you can see a list there of some future sessions. If you have an eye on any of these other future sessions and want to make sure that you're included on the email list for it, I'll provide my contact information at the end, so you can definitely shoot me an email and I'll make sure you receive the link to register for a future session. And these sessions will also be posted as events on Facebook, and we are working to get a page on our website where these are all listed as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, so now an introduction to Dream Camp. So what is Dream Camp? It's an overnight summer adaptive sports camp for youth ages 7 to 18 with a physical disability. And then students who are enrolled in high school that are 18 or older are also eligible to attend. So all of our activities are led by Adaptive Sports Ohio staff with the assistance of some other adult chaperones and counselors. We have a few of our adult athletes who are great ambassadors for our different sports and programs who also attend with us. So they're great mentors during camp. And then any adult chaperone or counselor must pass a background check as well before they attend camp. And then some of our activities will also utilize Recreation Unlimited staff. We'll need lifeguards during our swimming sessions and kayaking. And then the Recreation Unlimited staff will also assist and facilitate the adaptive ropes course that we do. And then at Dream Camp, all equipment is provided, but again, campers are welcome to bring their own. All right, so some of the activities we do each year include wheelchair basketball, wheelchair softball, adaptive track and field. So those are the primary sports we do. And then, of course, we want to provide other typical camp experiences like swimming, kayaking, an adaptive high ropes course. We do a campfire and also provide a dance, other camp games, and more. So it's a lot of fun. You can see the picture in the upper left-hand corner there. That's part of our adaptive high ropes course. It's not required that a camper participate, but it is a lot of fun and would definitely be a really neat experience. We have wheelchair basketball there on the upper right, adaptive track and field on the lower right. We hold a mini track meet during Dream Camp. So the kids really enjoy that. And then in the lower left hand, you can see some kayaking. So this year, Dream Camp will take place from Friday, July 9th through Sunday, July 11th. And it will take place at Recreation Unlimited in Ashley, Ohio. So that's just north of Columbus. It's a really great campus, fully accessible, and the campus is built specifically for individuals with disabilities. So it's really an ideal location for us and for our camp. We do typically offer transportation from our different offices. We're still evaluating that with COVID and everything, but more details about that will be provided later. Another question we get a lot is about caregivers attending. So the one thing with camp is we do not provide personal care. We do have a nurse that is on site throughout all of camp that can help administer any basic medications. But caregivers are welcome to attend with their camper at an additional cost. The way the lodging situation is arranged, you can see the residence hall layout there on the right-hand side of the screen. So the residence halls have two different wings. So we have a boys wing and a girls wing, so separate sleeping areas, and then a boys and a girls restroom within the dorm. And there's a common space here in the middle. So caregivers can choose to stay in a separate area with their camper, or if the camper would like to be a little bit more independent and would want to stay and sleep by themselves with the rest of the boys or girls, they can choose to stay again with their caregiver or separate from them. All right, so after this presentation, you're ready to register. You can do it on our website under community-based sports. If you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, there's a separate section for camp, and there's a registration link and some more details about camp there. The cost is $150 per camper, and then if a caregiver is attending with a child, that's an additional $150 for a caregiver, but that does cover all the food and lodging for camp. And that fee can be paid online. So after you register, there'll be a separate screen that would pop up that provides the link to pay online, or you can choose to just mail a check to our Worcester office. And the deadline to register for camp is June 11th. Once that registration closes, we'll be able to finalize a lot more details. So after that registration closes, we'll send a full schedule, packing list, the dorm assignments, and more details after that registration date. Again, I am excited to have Elijah Yoder as our guest speaker joining us today. He is a multi-sport athlete with us. You name the sport that we offer, Elijah's probably done it. He participates in wheelchair basketball. That's his primary sport. He participates with us in drop-in and also on the Wheelchair Cavaliers. And he recently signed to play wheelchair basketball at Edinburgh University. So that's awesome, exciting news for Elijah. He participates in adaptive track and field, both on Waynedale's high school team, and then has participated with us as part of Team Adaptive Sports Ohio at different national events. He's done wheelchair softball, wheelchair tennis, sled hockey, and I'm probably forgetting some as well. But Elijah has attended camp each of the last 4 years, so he's going to be a great resource to be able to share his experience. So Elijah, thank you so much for joining us tonight to discuss your experience about camp. And I guess, can you just start by explaining what makes Dream Camp so special to you, and what makes it keep you returning year after year to camp?
For me, I kept returning to camp because I had great experiences with everything, and I made a lot of great memories. And I also got to participate in some sports that I didn't really have much experience in. And yeah.
Awesome. When you first found out about camp, how did it make you feel that there was a camp with activities designed for you and other kids with a physical disability?
I think it was a great thing. I think there should be more camps like this, for sure.
Do you have a favorite activity at camp that we do each year?
Well, I mean, I got to go with my main sport, basketball, of course, but some other things that I like that we do is the kayaking, also track, because I do track too. So, yeah.
Was kayaking your first experience with kayaking at camp, or had you done that before?
Yes, actually, it was. My first experience kayaking was with Adaptive Sports Camp.
Were there any other first experiences you've had at camp as far as other sports or other camp experiences?
For me, it was just definitely for sure feeling more included in other things like the dance and the other games.
All right. Do you have any memories from camp that really stand out that you'd like to share? I have heard that you make a great impression at the dance each year. Want to talk about that?
Oh, well, for me, probably my favorite memory would have had to be when my friend Evan, who I met at camp actually, he did a dance at the beginning of the dance, and I mean, he hit it. It was amazing.
All right. So you met Evan at camp. Have you made other friends at camp? Is it a good opportunity to meet people from different areas of the state?
Yes, for sure. There's definitely a nice broad outreach in Ohio. So I've definitely made a lot more friends from other places in Ohio.
Perfect. So Elijah, we're really excited that you also applied to be a camp counselor this year. Can you kind of tell us why you wanted to apply and return as a counselor and what you hope to accomplish as a counselor?
For me, I wanted to apply to be a counselor at the camp because of the great experiences I had, and I wanted to make sure that other kids can also have those good experiences at camp.
Oh, that's awesome, Elijah. And then I guess if someone was on the fence about signing up, wasn't quite sure, was maybe interested, not quite sure if they wanted to sign up or not, what would you say to them?
Well, for me, I'd have to say it's not like other camps, the other camps that I've been to, it's usually just one sport. Here you get to try different sports with people that uh, also have like close to the same disability or the same disabilities as you.
Awesome. All right. So I guess we can open it up to questions from our attendees. If you guys have any questions, feel free to, there's a raise your hand function. So if you want to use that, I can unmute you and you can either ask your question in person, or if you want to put any questions in the chat, feel free to do that. And it looks like we do have one question. Elijah, do you feel safe when you attend camp?
Yes, for sure. They do a great job at making sure everything's safe and everything's good by a certain time. Everybody has to be in bed by a certain time. So it's definitely good, safe place.
Awesome. Are there ever any times that you guys are unattended at camp as far as adult staff?
No, there's always one of the staff members or counselors around wherever you go, basically.
Awesome. All right. Do we have any other questions? All right. Looks like we have one. How are caregivers of a different sex than the camper handled?
I think you guys should answer that one.
So I guess I'm a little.
So I know this one a little bit just from me being a counselor last year. So we have two different housing units. The first one is for the campers that are more independent or by themselves or want to be more independent. We split them up, guys and girls. And then obviously there's a shower inside of it. And then inside of the second unit, we have more. There's not really that many campers that normally uh, go with a caregiver, but normally they're spread out pretty evenly. And there's two wings still. same. I'm trying to think. I think there was only like 3 or 4 groups, but like the guys are on one side and girls are on the other, if I believe correctly still. And so you're still in the same housing unit, and then there's some private bathrooms if you need to help them with that. For sure, there's a private bathroom in there, and I think that's it then.
Yeah, and I will say too,
Yeah.
we always want to go too deep. Like, we never want a camper to be one-on-one with a counselor that's not their caregiver. So we're very cognizant of that as well.
But with that too, they like you still stay in the same unit as them. You don't like get separated for the caregivers whenever they go with their whenever they go with their child. They just stay together in the same unit. Then you can help them wherever they're needed.
All right, what is the cost for the caregiver to stay? That is $150, and an additional $150 on top of the $150 you'd pay for a camper. So if you have a camper and a caregiver, the total would be $300. All right. Anyone else have any other questions? Oops. All right. If there are no other questions, let me pull up our contact page again. So here's all our contact information. Feel free, if you have any questions, to reach out to me. My email is brooke.kieber@adaptivesportsohio.org. You can always send an email to info@adaptivesportsohio.org. There's also a contact form on our website. You can call the office. And then we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I will mention that we have some YouTube videos from a few days of our last camp, again, 2019. So if you'd like to go to our YouTube page at Adaptive Sports Ohio, you can see some slideshows and get a better idea about some of the activities and what camp looks like. All right, and can we get a copy of the slides from this presentation? Yes, I would be happy to send copies of the slides to anyone that wants them. So if you want to send me an email, if you end up wanting the slides after this, I would be happy to email that to you. All right, so if nobody has any other questions, thank you all so much for joining us. And you can definitely feel free to reach out to me or any of our staff, and we'd be happy to answer any other questions you might have.